Joining us now for a look at the implications of what is apparently still escalating conflict between Israel and Iran. Fred Kempe, CEO and president of the Atlantic Council and a CNBC contributor. We see people, depending on their point of view, Fred, we see all kinds of different analysis of this. I've never seen you more positive about what this could potentially mean for the Middle East, and I happen to agree with you. And more than just preventing Iran from getting a nuclear weapon, but removing the one obstacle from the Middle East to where you could actually bring the entire region into the modern world, theoretically.
Yeah, Joe, thank you for that. Look, I've been hoping for that for a long time. I've been talking to leading Saudi officials who have that vision themselves, have wanted to move forward for Israeli normalization. That would be the big win in the region if the Saudis and Israelis normalize. But we're watching right now this war, not for the strikes, although they're incredibly stunning, bolder, more strategic, broader than anything Israel has ever done, but really what comes out of it. And the basis for all this is the Abraham Accords, which the first Trump administration struck. These are normalizing moderate Arab countries. And then you add to that Jordan, Egypt, who have also normalized with Israel. We have a congressional delegation, the Atlantic Council has a congressional delegation in the region right now, which is the Abraham Accords caucus on the Hill. And they decided to go out despite what was going on, because they wanted to push this idea forward. We do it with the Talpin's Foundation, Jeffrey Talpin's Foundation. And the vision is for a Middle East that's economically modernizing, that's religiously tolerant, and that's politically moderate. And so you've got to think about Europe after World War II. Think about the really centuries of disputes that went into that. The only thing really standing in the way of this right now is Iran. And Iran is naked in its air defenses, as you announced this morning. It can't really hit Israel with very much punch. 23 people have died, but they've thrown everything at them and have not succeeded. So this is a historic moment. I don't think the Israelis are going to stop until they really have eroded Iran, maybe even to the point where there's a regime collapse of one sort or another.
I don't think any of us knew, and a lot of us were, many people weren't alive when the Shah fell in the Iranian Revolution, but I don't know if everyone realized that was really the beginning of decades of one country really holding the entire region back with nuclear brinkmanship and extremism, exporting revolution. It had Hamas and in Gaza, and Hezbollah. You write about all this, the Houthis in Yemen. Everybody else, it seems like if Iran hadn't been the sticking point, we'd even be further along, and maybe that there is hope for what you just described. The Middle East, it doesn't look anything like what we've seen since, 1979?
Not at all. So Iran's in the weakest position it's been since the fall of Saddam Hussein, so 30 years or so. And they have been the arsonist for integration, for peace agreements, whether it's the Camp David Accord, the Abraham Accords. Don't forget, on October 7th, when Hamas attacked Israel, Saudi-Israeli normalization was very close. The Biden administration was down to the last parts of the negotiation. The other thing that's intriguing to me, nobody's writing about this. I have a contact who's very close to the Trump administration, and he was in Iran a couple of weeks ago. He knows Russia very well, Soviet Union very well, former Soviet Union. And he said to me the mood was one of perestroika. And I said, well, what do you mean by that? And he says, well, don't forget, in the latter days of the Soviet Union, there was this economic opening, perestroika, political opening called glasnost. And nobody was predicting the fall of the Soviet Union. But what happened was all the repressive institutions were in place, but they were no longer so fearsome. People had ceased being afraid of them, and they had slowed down in their repression. He says he saw women on the street with scarves off to a degree that he'd never seen in Iran before. And we know they're unhappy with the regime. They must be even more unhappy now. It's very unpredictable what would come out of it. Would it be a military state? Would it be certainly isn't going to be a parliamentary democracy, one wouldn't think. Could the monarchy come back? That's one of the things people are talking about on the streets of Iran. So I think we have history in motion. We just have to see where this goes.